So Gerard Mayo was saying, like, yeah, I'm not going to say that I don't see color because, like, I do acknowledge that there are people of different races. And if you want to get to know your players, you want to get to know their backgrounds, where they come from, what their experiences are. I thought it was a pretty normal answer to give. And then people were like, I saw Fox News had a headline that was like, woke Patriots head coach will destroy the franchise or something
Bringing
like that.
woke to New England.
I think, like, you can find woke if you're really looking for it everywhere.
There's no such thing as woke. It's a facade. Woke is like the new. I don't know. They box in shadows. Anything that they don't like, they just label it as woke.
Welcome to the Dark Times channel. And so recently, the New England Patriots went out and hired their first black head coach in New England history. And a lot of people in New England are saying that he's too woke. Or better yet, maybe what they're really saying is that maybe he's too black.
I think, like, you can find woke if you're really looking for it everywhere.
There's no such thing as woke.
Go on.
New Rumble show? Who this? It's a facade. Woke is like the new. I don't know. They box in shadows. Anything that they don't like, they just label it as woke.
Because you know that you can get clicks.
Yeah, they put a it's like a flag they can carry. We're against this, and it's just never really defined. It was hijacked from black folks once again, and they flipped it as a pejorative.
We've seen the same playbook before. We've seen this play out over and over again, whether it's in Florida or whether it's in another one of these states. Whenever they don't like something, or whenever they don't understand something, or whenever they don't want to understand something, they throw off the word woke.
I mean, woke is sort of the idea that this is going to be one of those moments that goes viral.
And I'm going to go ahead and read the exact statement that got this New England coach labeled woke up in New England. And here's an article right here. It says, a new woke Patriots head coach targets racism, emphasizes seeing color. It says, in a groundbreaking move for the New England Patriots, Gerard Mayo steps in as the team's first black head coach, bringing with him a fresh perspective on race and its role in the sport. Mayo's recent statements about actively confronting racism and acknowledging the significance of race in the coaching realm have sparked considerable conversation, especially against the backdrop of contrasting views of other NFL coaches. Emphasizing the importance of his role, Mayo stated, "You better believe being the first black head coach here in New England means a lot to me. I do see color, because I believe if you don't see color, you can't see racism." And so that's it. That's the exact statement that got him labeled as woke. And I would probably say he's the first black head coach that I know of, when they asked him this question, or when they asked him a question like this, actually addressed it head on.
You and Mike Tomlin are two of the few black head coaches in the league. I wonder what your relationship is like with him and your thoughts on Steve Wilks joining that fold.
I have a very good relationship with Tomlin. We don't look at what color we are when we coach against each other. We just know each other. I have a lot of very good white friends that coach in this league as well, and I don't think it's a big deal as far as us coaching against each other. I think it's normal. Wilks got an opportunity to do a good job. Hopefully he does it. And we coach ball. We don't look at color.
But you also understand that representation matters too, right? And that when young aspiring coaches or even football players, they see you guys, they see someone that looks like them, maybe grew up like them, that has to mean something.
Well, when you say you see you guys and look like them and grow up like them, it means that we're oddballs to begin with. And I think the minute you guys stop making a big deal about it, everybody else will as well.
And so that's the kind of talk they want to hear. That's the kind of talk they like to hear. That's the kind of Uncle Ruckus talk they want to hear. Because the moment a so-called black man acknowledges racism, that's a problem. A moment a so-called black man in a prominent position acknowledges racism, that's a problem to a lot of people within the dominant society. If y'all remember when Obama, doing the Trayvon Martin case, said that if he had a son, his son would probably look like Trayvon Martin. And people went crazy. A lot of people within the dominant society lost their minds. How dare he say something like that? This is reverse racism. And all he said was, if I had a son, he would probably look like Trayvon Martin. And that was it. And so there's a blueprint. If you're a so-called black man in a prominent position, in a leadership role, especially in a leadership role over so-called white people in any capacity, you better not see race. In fact, you better deny racism. And so it's going to be a long year for Gerard Mayo up in New England. Even if he wins, it's going to be a long year because we already know what time it is up in Boston. And truth be told, I believe the owner, Robert Kraft, really only made this move because it was something that he wanted to cross off his bucket list. Because we're talking about an owner in Robert Kraft who's already pretty much done everything that you can do as an owner. Talking about 19 division titles, 10 AFC championships, 6 Super Bowl wins. And so his legacy, for the most part, is solidified when it comes to the NFL owners. He's already solidified as probably one of the best, if not the best, owners of all time. And so the only thing left for him is to make sure that he didn't go down as the only owner that never had a black head coach, or one of the only owners that never had a black head coach. And so I want to go through some of these comments real quick just to give you all an idea on what it's going to be like for this black head coach up in New England this year. Here's one comment, and I'm not cherry picking, I'm going straight down. I'm afraid the facts don't support the claims by the new head coach. I'm somewhat surprised that any professional team would allow a head coach to focus on activism rather than the sport. Someone has dropped the ball. And once again, keep in mind, Gerard Mayo was only responding to a question about him being the first black head coach in New England, which is historical. Just like any other group, if it was the first Asian, if it was the first Indian, whatever the case may be, people would ask that question. Here's another comment. Here's a color a lot of Americans are seeing right now. ... Red. We are angry at what our favorite sports and pastimes have turned into, a talking point. Gone are the days of watching our favorite teams play a sport that we also love. Now all we see is politics. I quit watching after the Kaepernick debacle. I no longer care. The NFL is a corporation that needs to remember that the people support them, whether it be a stadium or a dome or even TV. We purchase tickets, jerseys, and a lot of other things that support our teams. The colors we see are the colors of our favorite teams. This may work in woke Boston. I didn't know Boston was woke. Y'all may have to enlighten me in the comments section. And she continues to say, but it will not work in other areas. This is nothing more than self-importance and daring anyone to speak against him as a black man. One could even argue that the only reason he got the job was based on the color of his skin. As for me, I don't care. Football is no longer a sport of the best, but a sport of political pundits. And here's something else. Whenever there's a so-called black man that's on a fast track to any kind of position of importance, it's always the same old rhetoric. How did he get this position? The only reason why he got this position because of the color of his skin. You never hear that in reverse. The NFL and a lot of these sports leagues have hired young white coach after young white coach. And it's the same old spiel. Oh, he's a genius. He's the new this. He's the new that. And they're gone in less than a year, or a couple of years at best. Here's another comment. Patriots just lost a significant amount of support, which will lead to a significant loss of income, which should rightfully lead to a rapid firing. They're already calling for this man to be fired. It really puts a bug in their ass because, like I said, you can play the game. You can even be the quarterback. You can be the running back. You can play all the skilled positions. But as long as it's a so-called white coach at the helm, that's all that matters for a lot of these people. And that's the real reason why you see so few black head coaches in the NFL. That comment right there pretty much just summed it up. And so it's going to be a long season for Coach Mayo in New England. He's going to be in for a long season because there's a plethora of comments just like this in this comment section. And not just on here, but all across the internet. Rooting for this man to fail. And this is supposed to be your team. You're supposed to be diehard fans. You're supposed to be rooting for your team no matter what, but yet they can't wait. They can't wait to get this black head coach up out of there. And so most of you already know how the game goes, but go ahead and chime in the comment section and Feel free to let me know how you guys feel about this one. And as usual, peace and chaos.